Hello, Ag learners. For today's topic, we will be talking about the concepts and phases of plant growth and development. Now, ang pag-intindi sa topic na plant growth and development is fundamental. It is very important for agriculturists kasi yan yung magiging basehan for crop management and practices. How are we going to optimize yield and how are we going to address the challenges in crop production? Dito sa topic na to, we will explore the concepts of plant growth and plant development, ano yung mga general phases nila, and my goal is to provide detailed insights tailored to the needs of agriculturists. Okay? So before everything else, let us define what is growth. Ang growth, lalong-lalo na pagdating sa halaman, refers to the irreversible increase in the size, whether that be in length, volume, or mass. The keyword for growth here is that it is irreversible increase. Ibig sabihin, hindi pwedeng pa-backwards ang ating growth. Lagi, ang growth is forward, moving into the increase in the size of the plant. Whether that be magi-increase yung size ng plant sa kanyang length, so sa kanyang katangkaran, whether that be magi-increase sa kanyang width, or sa kanyang mass, kung gaano siya magiging kabigat soon. And primarily, bakit nga ba nangyayari ang growth? Now, if we're going to look at a cellular level, kung titignan natin yung cells mismo, nangyayari ang growth because of three things. It is because of cell division, it is because of cell enlargement, and it is because of cell differentiation. Now, kapag sinabi nating cell division, papasok na dyan yung concept ng mitosis, kung saan yung mga meristematic regions, yung mga actively dividing regions of the plants will, the cells there will divide. It will multiply. So yun yung isang reason kung bakit tayo nagkakaroon ng growth. It is because the cells are actually dividing during this time through the process of mitosis. Now, another reason kung bakit lumalaki, nag-grow ang ating halaman is because of cell enlargement. And when we say enlargement, hindi na yung cells ay nagkakaroon ng growth, hindi dahil yung cells ay nagdi-divide or nagmumultiply, pero dahil yung cells ay lumalaki. So it is enlarging. Primarily, yung cells ay nag-a-absorb kasi yan ng water, and yung pag-absorb niya ng water, yung cells ay nag-e-expand. So that is also a reason why plant growth happens in plants. Another reason would be cell differentiation. And this time around, yung mga cells na na-divide from the meristematic regions of the plants are now will now become specialized. So ibig sabihin, magiging permanent tissue na sila, and yung permanent tissue na to, nagkakaroon sila ng kanya-kanyang toka, nagkakaroon sila ng kanya-kanyang specialized functions, such as the formation of the vascular tissues such as yung xylem and yung phloem. Kasama na rin dyan yung formation ng ating mga ground tissues such as the parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. So those are the three reasons why plant growth happens. And in relation to growth, specifically in plants, kailangan din natin pag-usapan yung tinatawag nating concept of the sigmoid or S-shaped growth curve na pinagdadaanan lahat ng halaman na nag-grow. So ito yung sigmoid or S-shaped growth curve na pinagdadaanan ng halaman when it is growing. So initially, sabi dito sa model na to, plants, initially, ang plant, it undergoes what we call as lag phase. So yung lag phase, kung mapapansin nyo, the x-axis here determines the time, whereas the y-axis determines the growth in the plants or in a particular plant organ. So during lag phase, mapapansin natin, as time goes by, medyo mabagal yung paglaki ng halaman. So this is characterized by slow growth. Bakit? Kasi yung plant natin or yung plant organ natin, it is just starting to establish itself. Nagsisimula pa lamang siya. And during these times, cells are dividing actively. Pero yung increase in the size or weight of the plant is minimal. So itong phase na to, nire-represent niya yung early stages ng ating halaman. For example, yung seed germination or yung initial growth of the seedling. Again, bakit slow ang growth sa ating lag phase? Because the plant is focusing on establishment. For example, root establishment, enzyme activation, and energy buildup. So for example, when a rice seed germinates, hindi mo agad-agad nakikita yung significant growth. Hindi mo agad-agad yon nakikita. But it is preparing to develop its root and shoots, kaya medyo mabagal siya. Nagsisimula pa lamang. Another analysis that we can have here is when you are trying to learn something new, di ba? That learning sa simula, mabagal yan, masalimuot, masakit. Ano? Bakit? Kasi hindi mo alam yung material eh. Nagsisimula ka palang i-grasp yung mga fundamental concepts during the lag phase. Kaya ang growth dito ay slow pa lamang. So after lag phase, according to this theory, susunod naman dyan yung tinatawag nating exponential phase. And during the exponential phase, instead na mabagal yung paglaki na-encounter natin sa lag phase, dito rapid and exponential na. Ibig sabihin, mabilis na yung division, yung enlargement, yung growth na nangyayari dito. So dito sa stage na to, this is where plants grow most visibly. Pansin na pansin natin yung paglaki ng halaman. Yung leaves nag-e-expand, yung stems humahaba, and yung roots na nasa soil ay nag-i-spread out. So question, bakit sa exponential phase mabilis ang growth? Well, dahil sa exponential phase, remember sa lag phase, na-establish na niya yung kanyang root and shoot systems. During exponential phase, it is now taking more and more water. It is now taking more and more nutrients and sunlight. And during this phase, ang photosynthetic activity, yung pag-convert ng halaman ng kanyang pagkain is highly active. That is why it is fueling now the growth in our plants. For example, same na rice example kanina, ito yung times kung saan yung ating rice plant nagpuproduce na siya ng leaves and the stems are now growing quickly. And the shape of our exponential phase curve, mapapansin natin is steep, okay? Medyo matarik na yung pagtaas niya dyan, showing how quickly the increase in size or weight as time goes by. So yan naman yung nangyayari sa ating exponential phase. And finally, after exponential phase, mapapansin natin, magpa-plateau na siya sa stationary phase. Okay? Now, sa stationary phase, babalik tayo sa parang lag phase niya. Why? Because here, growth is slowing down and eventually nag-i-stabilize siya. Ibig sabihin, may limit yung paglaki to the point na na-hit na niya yung kanyang peak. And during the exponential phase, ang focus na ng halaman is nasa reproduction, katulad ng formation of flowers, katulad ng seed development, fruiting. So hindi na vegetative growth yung pinapalaki niya, hindi na yung mga dahon, hindi na yung mga stems, hindi na yung mga roots, but rather nakafocus na siya sa reproduction. And also, sa stationary phase, dyan din nangyayari yung tinatawag nating aging or senescence, kung saan the older parts of the plant, such as the leaves, yung mga nutrients na nandun, they are now redirected to the reproductive organs. Kasi kung sa exponential phase, ang focus ay yung pagpapalago ng dahon, pagpapatangkad ng mga stems and root system, yung mga nutrients na dapat ipunta doon, ipinupunta na doon sa mga reproductive structures ng halaman, katulad ng flowers, katulad ng fruits. Why is the stationary phase, why is the growth in stationary phase slow? Kasi nga, The resources, like nutrients, energy, they are now directed not on the vegetative parts of your plant, but on the reproductive part of the plant. And mapapansin natin sa stationary phase rin na yung cell division na nangyayari sa ating halaman becomes less active. So for example, in our wheat plant, yung phase kung saan nafi-fill na yung mga grains ng ating wheat, kung saan nagsisimula na siyang mag-flower, yan na yung stationary phase ng ating halaman. And this model is important kasi it helps us to understand plant development. Kung ikaw ay farmer, kung ikaw ay agriculturist, alam mo kung ano yung stages kung saan plants need more resources like nutrients or water para ma-maximize mo yung kanyang growth. At the same time, by understanding this growth curve model, pwede mo ring ma-optimize yung crop yield. For example, fertilizers are often applied during the exponential phase. Kung saan kailangan ng halaman ng nutrients, madalas sa vegetative phase, sa exponential phase, doon tayo naglalagay ng fertilizer. However, comes harvest time, medyo hindi na ganun karami yung ina-apply natin na fertilizer dun sa halaman. Para ma-optimize natin, kung saan kailangan ng halaman yung nutrients, doon tayo magpo-provide ng marami. During those times naman na hindi niya masyadong kailangan, konti lamang yung ating ibibigay sa ating halaman. So in simpler terms, you want to think of the lag phase, exponential phase, and stationary phase as a human being growing up. So sa lag phase, parang yan yung baby. Slow yung growth niya. Kasi nag-a-adjust pa lamang yung katawan niya. So hindi pa ganun karami yung kinakain ng isang baby. Madalas, may dede lang yan sa kanyang nanay. But during exponential phase, let's say yan na yung mga teenager phase ng ating human being, rapid na yung growth and height. Kaya kailangan during these times, kumain siya ng kumain. But comes the stationary phase, like an adult or yung mga pa-senior citizen na, growth usually stops. And the energy now is spent in maintaining yung kanyang katawan or pagkakaroon ng bata for reproduction purposes. So, yan yung konsepto ng growth. Again, sabi nga natin, growth is irreversible increase in size. So, more than likely, madali siyang i-measure quantitatively. Yun ang growth. Ano naman ang pagkakaiba ng growth sa development? Now, in relation to crop science, when we say development, ito na yung progressive change in a plant's structure and function. So, mostly qualitative na yung analysis na ginagamit natin for development. So, kasama dyan yung pagmamature ng halaman, yung kanyang pagkikreate ng reproductive structures such as flower and fruits. Now, may growth pa rin na nangyayari dito. It still includes growth. But at the same time, it includes additional processes such as differentiation ng iba't ibang mga plant parts niya. Okay? So, kasama sa development, yung usapin ng anong stage na nung halaman, nasa germination stage na ba siya, nasa vegetative stage, flowering, or fruiting stage. Now, let's discuss about the interaction of growth and development. May mga pagkakataon kung saan nagkakaroon tayo ng growth pero walang development. For example, yung isang halaman, nag-e-expand yung kanyang dahon. But probably for some reason, hindi siya nagpo-produce ng flower kahit time na niya mag-produce ng flower or hindi siya nagpo-produce ng reproductive part. So that is growth kasi lumalaki naman yung dahon ng halaman. Yun nga lang, hindi siya nag-move to the process of reproductive stage. Meron din namang pagkakataon kung saan may development pero walang significant growth. And makikita natin yan sa mga environment kung saan medyo highly stressful, kung saan, yes, nagpa-flower yung halaman mo, nagpo-produce siya ng fruits niya, pero pandak siya. Medyo na-stunt yung kanyang paglaki. So that is development without significant growth. On the next slides, we will be talking about the general phases of plant growth and development. And nagsisimula yan sa embryonic phase. So as the name suggests, embryonic phase, ito yung stage kung saan nagfo-form yung ating embryo during seed development in the ovule. Ano yung mga key processes dito? Yung pag-form ng zygote. That's one. Another significant feature of the embryonic phase is the formation of cotyledons or yung formation ng mga embryonic roots and shoots. Basically, the formation of the seed could be defined under the embryonic phase. Now, after your embryonic phase, meron naman tayong tinatawag na juvenile phase. And during this stage, plants exhibit vegetative growth. Kasi during this time, the plant now are growing its photosynthetic apparatus, katulad ng kanyang dahon. And during this time, mataas ang cell division, mataas ang expansion ng roots, stems, and leaves. But in the juvenile phase, wala pang formation ng flower or any reproductive parts dyan. Ang nagpo-form pa lang dyan is yung three major vegetative parts ng halaman, which is the stem, the leaves, and the roots. Now, after the juvenile phase comes now the reproductive phase, wherein at this period in time, nade-develop na yung tinatawag nating yung mga reproductive structures, reproductive organs ng halaman, like the flowers, the fruits, and the seeds. And ano yung key triggers ng reproductive phase pagdating sa halaman? Meron tayong two major triggers, and that would be your photoperiod and vernalization. Now, let's talk about photoperiod. Now, photoperiodism, ito yung response ng isang halaman depende doon sa length of day and night. Basically, ang halaman, may mga pagkakataon kung saan nagfa-flower siya, either kapag maikli lamang ang araw or kapag mahaba ang araw. Kaya plants can be categorized into two. We have short day plants and we have long day plants. Now, ano ang short day plants? Ito yung mga short day plants, ito yung mga halaman that flowers when nighttime is longer than daytime. So kapag mas mahaba yung nighttime, so ibig sabihin mas mahaba yung gabi. Ibig sabihin nun, kapag mas mahaba yung gabi, shorter yung araw, dito namumulaklak yung ating short day plants. Anong example ng mga short day plants natin? Sa agriculture, that would be your rice. And sa ornamental plants, that would be your poinsettias. Ang long day plants naman, ito yung mga plants na nagfa-flower kapag yung nighttime mas maikli kaysa sa araw. So, long day plants. So, kapag mas maikli ang nighttime, ibig sabihin, mas mahaba ang daytime. So, during this time, yung mga long day plants, dahil mas mahaba ang araw, doon sila namumulaklak. So, example ng mga long day plants natin would be your wheat and spinach. So, isa ito sa mga key triggers, yung tinatawag nating photoperiodism. Gaano ba isa ito sa mga key triggers, yung tinatawag nating photoperiodism. Kailan namumulaklak ang halaman? Namumulaklak ba sila kapag maikli ang araw or kapag mahaba ang araw? Kapag maikli ang araw, ang tawag mo doon, short day plants. Kapag naman mahaba ang araw, ang tawag mo naman doon, long day plants. Now, another trigger that allows plants to flower is the concept of vernalization. This is the process where certain plants, nangangailangan sila ng exposure to cold temperatures para matrigger yung flowering or to complete their life cycle. Isang classic example ng vernalization would be your sunflowers. So, ang sunflowers, kailangan niyang ma-expose sa cold exposure, so kailangan niyang ma-expose sa lamig, basically, para siya ay makapag-produce ng bulaklak. So, this process is also critical for some crops, katulad na lang ng wheat and barley, na kailangan nila ng cold exposure nang sa ganon sila ay mamulaklak. So after your reproductive stage comes now the senescence phase. Okay? The senescence phase, ito na yung final phase ng ating halaman kung saan nagkakaroon na ng aging. And yung metabolic activity nagde-decline na rin kasi nagpe-prepare na yung halaman para siya ay mamatay. Yan. So ano yung mga processes involved here? First, nutrient mobilization from the leaves to developing seeds or storage organs. So dito sa senescence phase, instead na yung nutrient ay mapunta sa mga vegetative part ng halaman like leaves, stems, or roots, yung mga nutrients, sila na ay naidadirect doon sa pagpapalaki ng seeds or storage organs ng halaman. Okay? So nakafocus na siya doon sa kanyang next generation, kumbaga. Doon niya na ipinupunta yung kanyang energy. Doon na ngayon siya nakafocus during these times of senescence phase. Now, growth and development in plants, these are affected by various factors, and we can categorize those factors either through internal factors or external factors. Ano yung mga internal factors that influences growth and development? Unang-una, genetic potential ng halaman. It does affect or it does influence growth and development. Kasi yung genetics ng halaman determines ano ba yung maximum growth lang or yield ng ating halaman. Kaya nga, isa sa mga goal ng genetics ay ipataasin yung growth potential ng halaman. Kasi kung ang growth potential ng halaman mo ay maliit lang talaga, for example, yung saging mo, kaunting, let's say, puso ng saging na ipoproduce niya or kaunting fruits na ipoproduce niya, wala kang magagawa kasi yun lang yung genetic potential niya. Kumbaga, yung genetic potential, yan yung limit ng halaman when it comes to its growth and development. Aside from that, internal factors din yung presence of plant hormones, katulad ng ating auxins, cytokinins, gibberellins, ethylens, and abscisic acid. So yung, as we can remember in our lecture on phytohormones, auxins, they promote elongation and differentiation. So kapag mas marami yan, edi mas mataas yung probability na mas lumaki yung halaman. Mas mag-elongate yung ating halaman. At the same time, cytokinin, it promotes cell division and delays senescence. So kapag mas mataas rin yung plant hormone na cytokinin, makikita natin na yung halaman lumalaki and medyo na nade-delay yung kanyang senescence or pagtanda hanggang sa siya ay mamatay. So these are the two major internal factors that influence growth and development in plants. How about external factors? Siyempre, malaki ang effect ng external factors sa plant growth and development, particularly light. Ang light, this is very important in photosynthesis. So kapag masyadong mababa yung light, hindi nakakapag-photosynthesize ng maayos yung halaman, edi ang tendency, mas maliit yung iyong halaman. Kapag naman sobra-sobrang dami yung light, ang tendency niyan is baka ma-sunscald naman na yung halaman mo. Light is also important. For example, blue and red light. It enhances growth and development. And yung nabanggit ko sa inyo kanina, photoperiodism. For some plants, yan yung signal ng short day or long day triggers yung kanyang flowering stage. So, yun yung effect ng light sa growth and development ng ating halaman. Temperature is also very important kasi optimum temperature could actually help the plant to optimize its enzyme activity, its metabolic activity. However, kapag sobrang extreme naman yung temperature, it would cause stress, leading to poor growth naman sa inyong halaman. Hindi mawawala, of course, yung water and nutrients. Water stress reduces turgor pressure. For example, pag masyadong maraming tubig or kapag masyadong konti yung tubig, naapektuhan negatively yung paglaki ng ating halaman. Kaya nga, when it comes to nutrients and when it comes to water, ang gusto natin, balanse yan. Balanse, for example, yung nitrogen, phosphorus na nare-receive ng halaman, it is essential para maganda yung kanyang pag-grow and maganda yung kanyang magiging development. Sa usapin ng nutrient, of course, hindi rin mawawala yung soil quality. Mahalaga na yung pagtataniman natin doon sa ating halaman, suitable yung lupa. Ibig sabihin, in terms of aeration, tamang-tama lang. In terms of pH, in terms of nutrient availability, tamang-tama lang kasi it does impact the growth and development in plants.